Hey guys, it's Spade here. Today we're going to be ranking the perks from Black Ops 6 Zombies on a tier list from best to worst. If you do like this video, please leave a like on the video and do please consider subscribing if you like Call of Duty content and Call of Duty Zombies content in general. This is the place for you. But anyways, let's get started onto this tier list. So in F tier, I have decided to put Depth Perception. Depth perception is one of the worst perks in this game, mainly because you have a radar in your top left minimap. So the fact of you having to look through walls for zombies is a little pointless to me, and it doesn't really make sense and fit the flow of the vibe of zombies, in my opinion. If this was more like a MWZ or anything like that, it'd make a little more sense. And overall, I would say it's a waste of points in the early rounds and isn't really that beneficial for you to stay alive and attack the zombies. Now, in D tier, I do have Elemental Pop. I was kind of half and half on this ranking because it does have its uses in the higher rounds and for your ammo mods, but I'm never going out of my way to go get Elemental Pop. It's way too much points. Usually when you're wanting it, it's around 5,000 to 6,000 whenever I usually get it. And to me, it's always just like a last thing to get. So this is why I put it at D tier. It's definitely not the worst, but I don't go out of my way to get it. And let's move on to C tier. Now, I will say C tier is going to be the perks that are less used, but I usually get them throughout my game. I am going to say Mealy Macchiato is on the lower end of that spectrum. That's why I decided to put it in the end of C tier or the beginning and the depending on where you're looking at it. But I will say Mealy Macchiato is a must on Citadel. It just makes the swords 10 times better and makes the boss fight so much easier. But the main thing Mealy Macchiato has going for it is the points building strategies for just using your melee weapon as long as possible. Because you can get up to 10,000 points easy on any map in Black Ops 6 if you just pick up Melee Macchiato early on. And that's why I'm putting Melee Macchiato at the lower end of the spectrum, because I'm usually not worrying about points in Black Ops 6. I'm always pretty much set up with all the side Easter eggs and everything else. But it still is a really good perk. But anyways, let's get on to our next perk, which is going to be Stamina. I feel like this is going to be another out-of-pocket perk on this ranking because I feel like a lot of people really do like Stamina. But into this game, there is perks that just outshine it in movement, one being higher on this list. And in my opinion, you're really not worried about that augment where it prevents fall damage as much on most of the maps. The only one you're going to be worrying about is on Reckoning when you're jumping off the buildings. So that's why I decided to put Stamina up lower on my list. If it was an older Call of Duty game, it would be in easily top 5, but in Black Ops 6, in my opinion, it's just a little useless. Now in B tier, we have Vulture's Aid, and in my opinion, it could almost go to A tier just on if you're going to be using your starting weapon, because the salvage this stuff drops is insane. And before Vulture Aid came out in Citadel, it was insanely hard, in my opinion, to get your weapon to gold rarity. Unless you were using the GS-45 or the ASG, it was just a pain. But then once Citadel came out and increased the drop rate of salvage once you had Vulture Aid on, it made life so much easier, especially for me who helps people with the Easter eggs on streams a lot. It was such a pain to get people all the way up to 5,000 salvage. So that's why in my heart, Vulture Aid will always be a top 5 perk. Now in B tier again is going to be Speed Cola. Now, Speed Cola really hasn't changed as much in Black Ops 6. It is basically what it's always done since World at War. It just makes you reload faster. But in Black Ops 6, that is such a huge win, especially with the amount of the mini bosses you have, especially in Liberty and all that. And for the slow reloading guns like the Maelstrom, it's kind of a must that you run Speed Cola for almost any game you're gonna run. But we all know Speed Cola. It's been the same since World at War. It hasn't really changed. So that's why I put it in B tier. Let's get started with the actual good perks that I'm always getting every game, no matter what. And that's going to be starting off with PhD Flopper in A tier. Now, my main reason to have PhD Flopper on this list is solely alone for PhD Slider. It makes the game so much more fun when you have good movement like this. As you can see in the screen right now, like, what even is that? Like, PhD Slider is just one of the funnest perks to use in the game. As long as with you also have the flop as well. Unfortunately, they do still take fall damage. I think that was one of the biggest L's they took for this perk, but they also did save it with no explosive damage, which is also really helpful when you have the GS45s because it just makes it so much more relaxing and just easier to take out zombies. Now, in my next perk, I'm gonna have Jug, and I feel like I'm gonna get roasted in the comments for this for having it in A tier, but hear me out. I feel like Jug is a little more useless in this game than in other games due to the armor aspect. If you get 3 plates of armor or even golden armor on the tomb, you're really not going to worry about Juggernog as much. If you go down, you're going to be worried about getting double tap, all the other perks, instead of Jug. I mean, you do need Jug eventually, but in my opinion, it is kind of like that one where you're really not too worried about getting as much. To me, it's always usually my third or second perk to get. It's never one of my first perks I always grab. That's why it's this low on the list. Usually I would put it on an S tier if any other Call of Duty, but in my opinion, in Black Ops 6, it deserves A. Now for the S tier perks in Black Ops 6. First, I'm going to be going with Quick Revive. Quick Revive in this game makes you heal a little faster and obviously makes you revive quicker. That, in my opinion alone, on this game is so crucial. Getting your health back quicker is just so much more better than getting more health, in my opinion. I know that's a kind of glass half full take, but trust me, Quick Revive is going to help you more than Juggernog. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but just trust. And another reason why it's better is if you're running with your friends or just with randoms, especially when you're doing boss fights and someone goes down, you want to get them up as soon as possible. And since they're gonna already be losing Jug, why not get them up a little quicker? But let's move on to the second to last perk on this list, which I believe is one of the better perks and one of the more slept on perks. So my second to last perk is definitely going to be Deadshot Daiquiri. Not only does this perk annihilate bosses super quickly, it is just so much easier to get points with Deadshot Daiquiri than I feel like with any other perk in this game, especially more than Vulturade. Even though it drops more points, I feel like just getting enough headshots in this game makes it so much easier to build up points early on in the round. So that's why I usually get Deadshot pretty early as well. And for 2, it does take down mini bosses pretty quickly. And to no one's surprise, in my opinion, Double Tap is the best perk in Black Ops 6 Zombies. Once this perk came out, I thought it was kind of slept on. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't using it as much as I thought I would. But boy, once the Maelstrom came out and once people started tagging those two together, this perk just skyrocketed. I would rather have double tap by itself than most of these perks with other perks, just because my survivability with double tap just immediately goes through the roof. So that's why I will always be a double tap glazer and will always say to always go for double tap in this game because it is just the best perk of all time in Black Ops 6. And if you do have a different opinion on why double tap shouldn't be S tier, I don't even want to hear it because it's, in my opinion, the best perk of all time. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear any blasphemy about double tap. Fuck you. And thank you for sticking around for the end of the video. If you did like it, like I said, please leave a like and a subscribe and a comment. It is always appreciated. I'm trying to get back into the video creation sort of space. So you guys following me and giving me comments on videos you guys want to see will always be appreciated. And as always, it has been Spade, guys. See ya.